What 5 watches would you buy with 5 grand? How would you split your budget? Welcome to our new series of 5 for 5. My job is to take £5,000 and recommend 5 new watches in 5 categories. These will be dive, field, dress, chronograph and pilot. Before we kick off spending 5,000 of my British pounds, it's well worth bearing in mind that I am only looking at new watches. So this not insubstantial amount of money has effectively ruled out all Rolex, most Omega and IWC. So join me now for my 5 for 5 field watches. Field watches are my favourite genre by far. Not only do they fit perfectly into my lifestyle, but when you buy a good one, you also get a watch that is steeped in history because it's most likely taken its inspiration from a classic military watch like the Dirty Dozen. A good field watch is generally a simple creation with 3 hands and a fixed bezel. Legibility will be exceptional and the watch will be powered by a mechanical or automatic movement, although there are some great budget models out there which are quartz. The watch should be capable of resisting most natural elements and won't be overly large, with the favoured case size being somewhere around 38mm. To many of us, field watches represent everything that is pure in watches. So let's look at the fabulous models which have made it into my 5 for 5. The Tudor Ranger at £2,580. The Tudor Ranger will be, to many people, the ultimate field watch, especially as we can't include the Rolex Explorer because of the 5k price cap. The Tudor is just as beautiful and every bit as well made as the Rolex, and also has a really interesting history, although like the Rolex, it didn't actually do what the adverts claim it did. Nevertheless, its dial is pure field watch. It has a superb in-house movement, and it's as good a field watch as you're gonna want, especially if you buy it on the leather/rubber strap. As long as you're not worried about bashing around a £2,500 watch, then you can't go far wrong with this choice. Next up is the Formex Field at £730. Formex do what Formex do best, and that's take the rulebook, throw it out of the window, come up with wonderfully original creations which somehow manage to stick only just within the agreed parameters of a watch genre. The Formex Field is exactly such a case because in every measurable way it's a stunning field watch, yet it looks vastly different to most other models on the market. There's a superb sandwich dial, great colours, 150m water resistance, a frankly brilliant strap, and a case made out of titanium which is blasted to look like untreated concrete. With its SW200 movement, the Formex Field offers exceptional build quality, and this is a brilliant field watch priced very competitively against the Hamilton. Then we have the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical with a white dial at £545. How could we discuss field watches without including the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical? Well, to be honest, I wish we could, because every time we write about field watches, this thing crops up. But the problem is it's actually very good at what it does, and somehow by default, it's become the standard by which all others are judged. The watch, of course, has an incredible heritage going back 60 years, and it's largely remained unchanged since its first creation. There's no denying today the current model is superb, albeit rather overpriced. The base model isn't cheap at £545, especially when you consider it's only a 50-metre watch. However, it's simply one of the best field watches on the market, and you get the added benefit of the lack of reflection on this model associated with a light dial. If you're prepared to bust the budget a little, you can also get the bronze model, which will patina beautifully as you take it through life's journey. All models have the same buttery smooth H50 movement and are a pleasure to interact with every day. Legibility is second to none, and the watch is instantly recognisable, either in 38mm or 42mm. 38mm is our choice. I hate to admit it, but the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical is probably, almost, one of the perfect field watches. It just needs to be a little bit cheaper and offer better resistance to the elements. Now the Boldr Venture, with multiple models around the £400 mark. Here at WatchGecko, we're lucky to have been appointed the sole representative in the UK for Boldr watches, so we're pretty intimate with their kit. Hence I've tested the Boldr Venture many times out in the wilds. It's very much a superior field watch with a titanium case, automatic movement, innovative textured dials, great lume, and a thoroughly contemporary design which lifts it beyond some of the less imaginative models on the market today. Of significant relevance in this 5 for 5 quest, the Boldr Venture is also relatively cheap, with standard 3-hand automatic models being available from as low as £300. With £400 buying you pretty much every model in the range. With that, you'll also get 200 metres water resistance, unlike the rather paltry 50-metre offering from Hamilton. Casio AQ S810W at around £45. Okay, I know what you're thinking. This is not a field watch, but to me it is, and that's why it's in my top 5. The Casio AQ S810W has been my go-to outdoor adventure survival field watch for the last 10 years, and it's this specific model which has been through hell and high water with me. It's solar powered with a power reserve of around 6 months, I'd like to see Rolex compete with that, and has superb legibility. It's as tough as old boots and has a few traditional digital complications on the screen, but it's so small you don't really use them much. So when we look at this watch purely as a man-made object, it has 2 hands, a clear dial, all-weather and light legibility, waterproof to 100 meters, and has taken more knocks than I ever thought possible. So who's to say it isn't a cracking field watch? At around £45, it's an absolute bargain for what you get. And if you're looking for a proper beater watch to take out to the field, just go and buy one. I've also got a couple of good alternatives which didn't quite make it into the top 5, but they're great watches. The Elliot Holton Professional Green at £475. Elliot watches are currently in service with the British military, so they need no introduction. They're exceptionally well made and tick all of the boxes for field watches, other than the fact they've generally got time-elapsed bezels because they've got dive capability. The Holton makes a fantastic field watch, well worthy of your consideration at a very favourable price point for impressive spec. Sinn 856 UTC at £2,350. There's a good argument that Sinn watches haven't really evolved as much as they could have. There's definitely a company mentality of, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. But to be honest, that philosophy has served them well, because there's really nothing wrong with Sinn watches. They're exceptionally well made, perfectly legible, have stunning heritage, and a very distinct DNA, which we all know in the watch industry is damned hard to create. The 856, whilst it's marketed as a pilot watch, is without question a stunning field watch, especially if you put it onto a leather strap. The UTC variant simply adds to the field outdoor look and makes it one of the best high-end field watches on the market today. So there you have my 5 for 5 field watches. I'm sure you've got your own selection, but over the last few years these have been my top choices, which are still available today, and critically, 5 of which can be bought in some combination for under £5,000. Join me for the next 5 for 5 videos, please subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you soon for some more watch chat.